ndcstraps.com. Proper dive watch, proper dive strap. The only original Marine Nationale strap. Ba-bam. What is going on? I do hope that Jacko at NDC adopts my catchphrase, proper dive watch, proper dive strap. I do love my phrases. On deck, ton of books, one beautiful watch, talking about, my dive, my dive gloves, U.S. Navy SEAL approved IST gloves, available at Amazon.com. Scott, our friend at watchestry.com, released his new book this past week. Wanted to give a little bit of attention to it. It is absolutely epic, and it does involve my watch, the Tudor FXD LHD MOD by D and Friends, and the MOD, and that does indeed stand for modified. It does not stand for Ministry of Defense. But before we get into this was Scott's original book, the Marine Nationale, watchestry.com. I've known Scott for a couple years. He's been on the program, hoping to get him on the show to share his adventure of how he got to doing this book. But this book more or less covered Scott's collection of watches that were in service of the Marine Nationale, not just Tudors. There's a handful of others in here. And a pretty epic book, if not the only book covering these watches. So if you've not picked this one up, this one is an absolute delight. It's in my library. And as he was going on his journey to release this book, he and I were talking about it, and I persuaded him that my watch, my modded Tudor, belonged in the book, and he put it in. It's in there. I'll show you that picture in a second. But the reason is, this FXD is obviously, when it's available to the public with the crown on the right side, only the Marine Nationale divers can get it configured with the crown on the left. Now, I know this and give credit somewhat for this project to Adrian Barker. He was one of the first people to discuss the launch of the FXD, and in his launch video, he showed a picture of some French divers' watches, the military version, which has two lines at the bottom, right side crown and left side crown. And he mentioned that only one of the divers can order it that way. But that got me to thinking, if it's that simple to do, maybe it's just a dial swap. So I'll pop in the thumbnail from my episode covering it. It is the most simple mod you will ever have to do. You do need to be somewhat of a competent watchmaker to do it. The way you get the case back off of this is you need the Rolex Sea Dweller case opening die, the die thing, the piece of metal that goes into the machine that will fit the case back in order to get it off. That's the one you need to get this off, and then you just drop the movement, take off the hands and the dial, and 180 degrees, boom, done. And you can also have your very own left-hand drive. If you end up doing that, drop me a note. Let me know the video meant something to you. There are a couple people out on Instagram who've done it, who I have spoke with, who didn't even bother to mention me. Heartbreaking, heartbreaking, heartbreaking. But I digress. And this is indeed the strap collab between Scott, watchestry.com, and ndcstraps.com. Why do you have multiple versions of this book? Well, one's for me, one's for the studio, and I'm going to gift one to my two buddies who have asked to remain nameless, anonymous. Without them, I could not have got this to fruition. So they don't know this is coming. I'm going to go visit them today as I'm shooting this and give them a nice little surprise. But here we go. Watch Book Club. Am I going to be able to do this with my Goonie gloves? Maybe. We'll see here if it gets weird in a minute. All right, so 356 pages. Awesome. And what do you know? Does this look familiar, anybody? Let's see here. Does it look familiar? Scott even graciously gave the channel a shout out. D from Hobby of Hours. Thank you for shouting me out, my brother. It is an amazing, epic pleasure to be published in your book, sir. Amongst all of these absolutely fabulous actual watches that saw service. Now, I love me a good watch book, and if it's right or if it's wrong, I judge a watch book by its size, meaning how many pages have we got? Excellent page count. We're over 350, and let's take a little cruise, if we can, through what you're going to get in this book, which is more or less perfection. It's okay, so he crowdsourced these photos and the details from the community. All of the Marine Nationale watch owners, whether it was Tudor, Longines, we've got, oh my gosh, we got a tag hoarder in here, a bunch of different brands because it wasn't just Tudor. And a ton of these vintage pieces as well. Even got a Timex Iron Man. Of course, G-Shock represent. There's that tag. I think this is the same one that was in Living Daylights. Lone Wolf McQuaid, keep me honest. Is that the case, sir? But that's a fully luminous dial. And so what we have in the book is basically more or less what we love. We've got the main photo, supplementary photos, the details, the references. Look at this. Reference IDs in case you want to go on a hunt for one of these. They are tough to find. Especially the Tudors do run hot price-wise. I can't even get you a comp on it. But this Breitling, Pluton's calling my name. G Money likes this one, although I think he prefers the dive bezel variant. J Bianchi, didn't even know that dude was making watches. Auracost, tons of Auracost in here. What was that weird one? Bouchot. And of course, Tudor. Tons of Tudor examples. And so we've got MN on the back in 82. I believe that's the year it was issued to the Marine Nationale. And of course, we got some NDC strappage along the way. As I said in the opening, NDC straps are the only original straps for the Marine Nationale. There are a few other brands out there. There's at least one of them that has the word original in their name. And they started business in 2015. I don't think the Marine Nationale started in the 2015 era. So point being, proper dive watch, proper dive strap, ndcstraps.com. Jacko, please adopt my catchphrase, my slogan. I give it to you free of charge, sir. But this is the OG, the original, and Scott himself is an OG original. I want to call him the official historian of the Marine Nationale because, dang, my brother is doing the job. And the word register, I think that's the French use of it, and I think he got this, as I was reading a bit, from a watchmaker who serviced a bunch of these watches for the military over the years. This gentleman kept incredible records and just basically formed the backbone of the history. And so Scott has done all that research for you. It's in 2 books. This book, the original book, and when he first brought this book out, it came out in softcover, and then he moved into the hardcover. And this one come out straight up as a hardcover. I absolutely support that. And I think that at the price point it's at, check the links in the description. There's a link to his website, watchestry.com. I'm in the US, so I will also include a link to amazon.com. That's where I bought my 3. Fabulous pricing, and you know, I'm just so happy that my buddy got to do it. I'm happy to share it with the audience on the Hobby of Hours channel. And I'm going to be super happy to roll heavy with my Tudor on wrist to go see my buddies this afternoon as I give them this book. So if you have any questions about this, there are some questions about where you and I as a buyer could hunt down a Marine Nationale watch. It's kind of hard to say. I do have a pair of websites that I'll put into the description as well that Scott gave me back in the day. And you know, when they pop, last time I saw one pop, it was on Chrono, and I dare say it was north of 20 G's. So these are heavy hitting vintage military pieces. But if you look, especially in the case of say some Omega pieces that were issued to the military, or certainly the Rolex ones, they trend hot. Although I have noticed that the Rolex ones, obviously very high priced, usually in the 40 to 50, 60K. The Tudors, I think, are in the 15 to 25K these days. And the Omegas, I think, are just under 20. But if it's something you love, if you're a fan of military watches, particularly the Marine Nationale or the Tudor, check it out. If you're interested in learning more about how I did this watch, truth be told, easiest mod ever. Easiest. Check the video in the back catalog where I detail that. But it's a ton of fun. And, you know, the challenge is, okay, if it ever needs to go into service, you're going to want your watchmaker to reverse it before it goes into service if he or she is not Tudor certified to service the watch in person. If this has to ship off to Tudor, you're definitely going to want to have that swapped back. So you should have a pretty good rapport with your watchmaker, if not develop one, because having a good watchmaker is like having a good mechanic. You need it in order to enjoy your watches, just like you need it to enjoy your car. That is all in today's Watch Book Club. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope that wherever you are on this wonderful, beautiful hobby of ours, you're doing well and that you're blessed. We will catch you in the next one. Peace. If you'd like to support the channel, head over to hobbyofhours.com. We've got artwork, coffee mugs, hats, t-shirts, and even a watch book. 1001 Watch Designs, Volume 1. Over 1,000 designs in here. Steampunk, super futuristic, kaleidoscope, even super real ones. Watches that you could probably put on your wrist today. It's a great way to support the channel. Thanks for coming along on the ride.